Welcome back, family, to another episode of Walking in Wisdom, formerly Sosa Walking in Wisdom. On this platform, we still do everything. Character analysis. Hello there. I am Coach Cece. I'm a Nollywood aficionado, and I contend today more than ever, character matters. As a result, while watching my favorite Nollywood movies, we unpack and we provide you with a character analysis. And we contend the only way to grow is to get rid of all ways. First, start by acknowledging them, looking at a man and a woman in a mirror and doing the work to break those bad habits. And then you can grow, flow, and elevate to the next level indeed. Today, we are doing part two of Uche Montana's The Other Woman, indeed. And today, we're going to talk about three ways a married woman can keep romance alive. It's all about rekindling, whether it's 50 years, 25 years, 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, rekindling many a times the husband and wife doing their own thing. And majority of times it's just really trying to make the money so their kids are out of poverty or that their kids could have a better life. They forget about why they said I do and yes. And I want you to go back and remember what we discovered in Love in Every Word. And it's important to unpack that as well. We did Love in Every Word, and make sure if you have not seen 5 tips to transform into Achlugo, please be sure to see that episode as well. Because what an Achlugo and a Dugo would do is to keep the romance burning, and by chance, if it's losing a spark, you certainly want to rekindle. So this video will be a little shorter because we did part one and we spoke about most of the characters. We didn't get into the young woman. My understanding, we're going to have a part two. So we're just going to go through Uche Montana television. If you have not subscribed to her, please go ahead and let's applaud this young lady for the wonderful work that she's doing. Let's push her over the 1 million mark indeed. And for all of you have done so far, we salute you. We certainly want to give these young people credit and give them their flowers very early. And if you have not subscribed to Sonia Uche Television, she's still doing her thing. 1.08 million subscribers. Please be sure to fan out and decide which movie you have not seen. Although I'm not sure which movies could you have not seen. Please be sure to see it and then run over and look for my character analysis on the platform. A new platform, Walking in Wisdom, formerly Soso Walking in Wisdom. Today we have more than 51 videos, including part one of The Other Woman. So please be sure you view it, including Love in Every Word as well, and the wonderful movie, The Grey Knight. So let's look into today's movie. Part two, again, we're looking at rekindling romance, and the storyline is between a man and woman who's married more than 25 years. During the 25th anniversary celebration, it's a choice, he chose to go out afterwards and continue the celebration with his boys. And he had an encounter with a beautiful woman by the likes of Uche Nancy character herself. So today's episode, I'm just going to give you a brief description of the young woman, the other woman, Uche Montana's character. And if you want to find out about a husband and wife, please be sure to go and review part one. It's very brief. So in this particular movie, The Other Woman, the young woman played by Uche Montana is portrayed as a professional with boundaries and ultimately an unwitting participant. Or not. I say or not because as a woman, regardless of your age, woman's intuition, the Holy Spirit, that's always at work. That's just part of being a woman. So someone who has an integrity, she indicated in her meeting with this handsome man played by Brother Benson that I don't date my clients. And I have that rule of thumb too. In healthcare, I didn't date the doctors. One person graduated before we had a first date, and that was like 5 or 6 years. Okay. So I love that rule. It makes it simple and it makes the workplace more professional. And if you say no to one, I would say no to all. Otherwise, it becomes really hairy. And then it's your reputation. Regardless what people say, we are still living and working in a man's world. And as a woman, it's important that you protect your reputation. For the guys, for the brothers, is a good old boys club with amongst the chiefs and others, elders, good old boys club still. For the women, virtuous woman or loose woman, those are the two options. You decide who you are, and you have to know your value. That was a focus on I know your worth on part one of the other woman. And now we're considering part two, rekindling romance and marriage. So she certainly had boundaries. It led to a level of self-respect, understanding that she has self-worth. And she was still wrapped up in the illusion of the perfect man. She would rather not know. And I have the feeling that in part one of the other woman, that was the response of the wife as well. She'd rather not know. Otherwise, you would see her vulnerability, and she was afraid to showcase that vulnerable spot to her spouse. If you cannot do it to your spouse, who you said I do to, who can you do it to? Who can you disclose it to? So that in and of itself is a challenge. There's a lot of areas in that movie in terms of history to see why she felt that way indeed, but let's move on. So today we're going to find out not three ways a young woman knows her worth. We did that in part one. So part two, rekindling your romance. And as a married woman, a person in a long-term relationship, keeping the relationship vibrant requires conscious effort and prioritizing the partnership. So some things you can do. Three main steps, really. Schedule time for emotional and physical intimacy. Is about being intentional about what you want. And because you prioritize everyone else, including your kids, it's now to reprioritize again once they have left the coop. Practice vulnerable communication. What was missing in this marriage was a lack of communication, not even ineffective. To me, there was none. And when we communicate, you have nonverbal and verbal communication. The verbal communication was next to none, and the nonverbal communication was 100. It was so loud. What they were not saying was more relevant than what they were saying. And it takes a very astute person, one with emotional intelligence, to register what was being stated. And I think they might have both missed it. And number three, invest in individual growth and shared novelty. My apologies, I will say that again. Invest in individual growth and shared novelty. There we go. Finally out. So the husband's new cologne and exercise routine showed a desire for novelty. And she should have picked up on that nonverbal communication. And I think she did. But instead of just sensing that was another woman, she should have then done something about it, like put on a new gym wear in front of him and join him on his run, including intruding on his space when he was going out for a run, right? So both partners should invest in their individual growth, hobbies, interests, career, remain interested in each other, and crucially, they should also introduce shared novelty into the marriage. New trips, new joint hobbies, new clothing, new experiences to avoid the stagnation and predictability that can lead one partner to seek excitement elsewhere. And not to say that's an excuse, but it happens. So that's it. That's it for part two, the other woman, in terms of what can a married woman do of 25 years to rekindle her romance, courtesy of Uche Montana. My understanding, there's a part two to this movie. To me, this is the opposite spectrum of Loving Every Word. This is the other woman after marriage so many years. So it's quite interesting. Maybe I'll do a comparison once I know what part two is all about, right? I can't make a decision until I see what they present forward. But again, if you have not seen part one, please go ahead and look at part one. This is part two. Leave your comments. And again, this is courtesy of one of the audience members. So if you desire us to do analysis of your favorite movies, please be sure to leave a message and we'll be happy to. Thank you, family, so much for joining us. And as always, shalom.